folks, welcome in. Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyker along with Al Losey, and we are in the studio this week. That was quite the testament, being at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway last weekend with the snow and the ice and the wind. And
yeah, I got to take my gloves off in here. Yeah, I was watching that show, and boy, we didn't. You and Chuck did not look cold. I was all bundled up. I looked like I was freezing.
Back and forth, you kept clenching your fists inside your gloves, and I was quite comfortable.
My wife says I was looking like I was ready for a football game again.
And then about 3 days later, we got the warm temperatures, and if you've seen the latest pictures from the Speedway, all that ice and snow is pretty much gone. I think Lake Speed has been extended from the quarter-mile track down where our guest would be pitting at. And a lot of water out there, but we're hoping to get practice session in this weekend. Of course, April 13th is the first practice day and the media day. And I'm thinking it starts between 9 and 10. So if you want to go out and get that smell of race fumes like I do, that's always my indication racing season is when the national championship basketball game is done for the NCAA. Yep. Now it's entirely time to focus in on racing. And we've got quite a bit to talk about on the show here. A lot of stuff happening in the offseason. I had some people text me this week and say, hey, what was going on with Greg Oliver's name being out there left and right? And Greg will be back as our flagman at the La Crosse Speedway this year, but he started something new, which I think is going to be quite interesting as the season picks up and more drivers can find out how loose their schedules are. He has the Great Northern Sportsman Series, which ultimately enough will be running their championship during Oktoberfest this year, so add one more crowning of the king during Fest. But I know you've done some reading on this, and it's generally for sportsman drivers that want to not only stay at their home tracks, but get out on the road.
Yeah, he's trying to come up with a package of rules that will allow the sportsmen from La Crosse to race with the sportsmen from Marshfield and the Dells and Madison, and kind of make something so that everybody can race against each other, because it does become a lot of fun when you can race against people other than at your home track, and it becomes a challenge for the team to try to set the vehicle up for a different track, and it just makes it a lot more fun for the teams.
Well, if you look at the schedule, they're going to start things off on Memorial Day weekend, which is a pretty cool weekend to start a new series off at the Columbus 151 Speedway, and that's down by the Sun Prairie and Columbus region. And then they've got a lot more dates that they've been adding ever since then. And then they made the announcement a couple of weeks ago that their championship will be run during the 44th annual Oktoberfest race weekend. And it should be interesting because we have our local sportsmen that we crown the champ on during Fest, and you have the area sportsmen in which you see the Rob Currens come out of the garage and the Brent Canes come out of Minnesota and just capitalize on the field. But it should be interesting to see what kind of sportsmen show up for a third sportsman class at Fest.
There's going to be a huge car count for that. And what's kind of cool is that you could almost have the same people in line for a lot of those championships.
That's going to be interesting to see, especially when you get some of the big guys out, like I mentioned, like Brent Kane and Rick Schermerhorn and Randy Humfeld and the Gilsters. I mean, I see them all coming out to get in all three of these classes. If you do want more information, it's GreatNorthernSportsman.com, GreatNorthernSportsman.com, or give Greg Oliver a call. Jess will put the number up there at 608-461-0871 if you want more information, or just check out their website. Mississippi Thunder Speedway, I'll be up there announcing on Friday nights again this year, one of the fastest dirt tracks I've ever announced at. And they do have a change to their preseason schedule because a lot of drivers weren't ready with their equipment. And honestly, the weather a couple of weeks ago just wasn't playing fairly. They've moved their annual car show Saturday, April 20th now, and it will start off at about 10 o'clock until about 2 at Sugarloaf Ford in Winona. And also something they're going to do this year is they're going to have their second annual Mississippi Thunder swap meet at the other end of the car dealer parking lot. So if you want to get a chance to maybe stock up on parts for the race season, I mean, I'm sure your race team knows all about this, and I'll ask our guest about this as well. Any chance you get to get some stuff right now that'll get you through the race season, hopefully at a relatively good price, is always a plus.
Yeah, we do attend a number of the auctions that go on where other teams can sell their equipment. Some people buy brand new bodies and things like that. Different pieces and parts that go on the suspension, and what we do is we're one of those teams that will go and purchase that stuff, because as the course of the season goes on, yes, you get into fender benders and you do need to replace items, and that gives us a chance to maybe stay on the track a little bit longer during the course of the season.
MississippiThunder.com if you want more information there. Of course, one of the neat things is free hot dogs and soda and popcorn until it's gone. I always prep myself for those free food items right there.
Dan.
Again, that's going to be Saturday, April 20th is their car show. Their opening season will be, if memory serves me correctly, Friday night, April 26th. That will be followed by the weekend that La Crosse has off. Also, for those interested in that Tundra Super Late Model Series that got underway here about, I think it was last year was their inaugural season.
Somewhere.
Ran 5 or 6 tracks. They're not racing at the Dells this year. There's some contractual things I understand that everyone's going to go through. Right. But they're adding tracks to their schedule. Now, we told you last week on the program that they will be racing at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway July 3rd, which for folks that like watching super late model racing during Oktoberfest, this is a nice added bonus to La Crosse mid-season.
Oh, it really is, and it gives the fans a chance to see something other than the late models that actually run every Saturday night at La Crosse. And some of those late models may be able to switch their cars over to a super late. The thing is that you got a stronger motor in those cars. The suspension is quite a bit different, and those cars can put some incredible speeds at the La Crosse Fairgrounds.
Well, Chuck was saying last week on the program that it's about a half second to almost a second now. What that means speed-wise, you're looking at maybe, what, 5, 6, maybe almost 10 miles per hour.
When you're talking a half a second to the general fan, that doesn't seem like much, but a half a second is a large amount of space on the racetrack.
Well, Jefferson Speedway has been added to the Tundra Late Model Series schedule. It will be June 22nd. And we're going to talk about Raceway Park in Shakopee as we get through the program here. Some news that was kind of unsettling to the drivers up in that area, even all the way down here that have raced there before, that it looks as though this will be their last season running due to a proposed asphalt recycling plant. I know there's some skirmishes still going on with the city council up there, but we would hate to see another track fall by the wayside. Also, you want to check out VeteransRacewayPark.com, the new track in Tomah. They have solidified their schedule for the racing season. They're going to be starting in May, I think it is. And got some ARCA Series races, a couple of truck races there as well, and they're going to try to run a full schedule.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised there. They just get that racetrack up and going, and they're bringing in some pretty impressive series into that racetrack.
And we'll give you more information on that as the season progresses as well. Probably one of the most excited drivers that I've talked to during the off-season, and there's been a lot of them, as social media has kept me in touch with drivers at both the tracks in which I work. One of the most excited is our guest in the program today. He's got a lot going for him this year, and he's going to be putting on a lot of highway miles. We're going to talk with number 82, late model driver from the La Crosse Speedway, Jay Herbst. When we return on Seven Rivers Racing here at KQEG TV.
Oh, so lovely. It's a Cousin Subs cheesesteak. It's an Italian cheesesteak and a double cheesesteak.
Score!
It's another Cousin Subs cheesesteak.
It's a Philly.
You got the whole set!
I know.
Cousin Subs. Better bread, better subs, better day.
I'm so happy.
Did you know that the Holman American Legion is open to the public? That's right, 7 days a week you can enjoy the full-service bar while watching your favorite sports team or NASCAR driver. You don't need to be a member to enjoy the Holman American Legion's rotating lunch special every Tuesday for only $6. A banquet hall with seating up to 250 people is also available for weddings, birthdays, or any other special event. See you at the Holman American Legion, 419 First Avenue West in Holman.
When you're all out of good ideas and you've moved on to the dumb ones, it's time. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, a higher standard of comfort.
Welcome back in. Seven Rivers Racing here in KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyke along with Al Losi. Year number 3 that we are in the booth here. We're going to be bringing you all kinds of racing action throughout the entire race season. This is the time of the year that I hate looking at the monitor and We have nothing to show. No replays, no wrecks, no winners, no nothing.
No, but we do get to talk about all the exciting things that will be coming up, and that is what makes the spring, especially this spring where it hasn't really warmed up enough, this is where we can warm things up.
Well, talking about warming things up, our next driver, I labeled him Mr. Saturday Night about 2 seasons ago, and it has really started to stick now. And, you know, I've talked to him during the offseason, and just the past 3 months, his name is from Electrified Motorsports, and you want to talk about the electricity and electrification that our guest has today with some of the news he's brought out and what he anticipates doing here in 2013. He puts a stamp on that. We'd like to welcome in former track champion of La Crosse Speedway and possibly some more championships out lurking. Jay Herbst. Jay, how are you, buddy?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic. Good to see you in the studio. How was your winter?
Long.
It looks like it was, but it doesn't look like what I've got sitting here in front of me that I knew was brewing for several months. It doesn't look like you had a quiet winter when you talk about racing.
No, we didn't. We had a good year last year, but then into the off season this year, we were able to put a deal together and get some backing from a company that is huge. I mean, they have 6 manufacturing facilities throughout the world, and we put a deal together, and we're going to go do some Big 8 racing this year, as well as racing at La Crosse, and then maybe a few Tundra Series and some ARCA Midwest Tour stuff as well.
Now, you're making it sound simple. I'm picking up these sponsors. It takes a lot of phone calls, a lot of time, travel.
A lot of knowing somebody.
It really isn't that simple. Could you talk a little bit about what it took?
It took from August of last summer up until we actually went to Canton, Ohio and visited with them and actually met face to face and presented our deal to them. And so it took from August till November to actually get the deal put together and finalized, and here we sit, and I have a brand new car sitting in the shop for the Big 8 Series that's only has Hendrickson on the car, and besides JNR Transport, who's an associate sponsor with us, and that
they've been
particular
with you for quite a while too.
Yeah, they have. They've been with us the last few years, and JNR is what helped us with Hendrickson, so it's going to be an exciting year for us.
And it doesn't end there either. You end up staying in contact with your sponsors, helping them out, and making sure that they get their money's worth.
Oh, repeatedly. I email Hendrickson every week with pictures of how the car's been built all winter long. So they have seen it go from a bare metal frame with nothing on it to completely assembled, but the frame's not painted, then disassembled again, powder coated, and then reassembled to the finished product that it is now.
These are the things that the general fan doesn't understand. The amount of time that it takes to get a car on the racetrack is way more time than you spend on the racetrack.
Yeah, it is, and the amount of time you spend in the shop just preparing the car each week. And the crew comes out 2 to 3 nights a week, and I mean, we're ready to go. Our La Crosse car, our new River City Ready Mix Ford Fusion is ready to go for this year, and then our Hendrickson JNR Transport Chevy SS is ready to rock and roll this weekend in Rockford.
Now, exactly what is Hendrickson Trailer Commercial Vehicle Systems?
They design and manufacture suspensions for semi-trailers, semi-tractors, dump trucks, cement trucks, anything that's heavy-duty commercial. They design and try and make it so that the owner of the trucking company can get the most bang out of their buck, get the most tire life out of their tires, and stuff that is easier as far as driver comfort going down the road. So they do anything and everything with suspension systems on commercial vehicles.
Now, have they been, I mean, this is a huge sponsorship situation you and your race team find yourself in for the entire season. Is this one of their first avenues of getting into auto racing?
As far as I know, yes, this is their first avenue, and so we are doing anything and everything we can to keep them happy and have them help us promote the sport that we all truly enjoy and love and are passionate about, and yet in the same aspect, you know, give them return on their investment from it.
Right.
And your season starts a lot earlier than a lot of other race teams. Your racing season starts this weekend.
Yeah, we have the Spring Classic 108 down at Rockford Speedway in Illinois this year, and you know, we're headed down early Saturday morning to do some preseason testing and stuff down there, and then we qualify and race on Sunday afternoon.
Are you ready for it?
Oh, yeah.
Always like to get that's one of the biggest responses I like getting out of drivers. You get someone go, well, you know, my car's still in the snowbank, and well, you know, I still don't have my motor back. Because there were a lot of drivers that took a while to get their motors back last year, but you're powering 2, possibly 3 different vehicles this year. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge? The Big 8 series, you possibly might do some ARCA, some Tundra, lacrosse. What's going to be the biggest challenge for you? I mean, obviously, you'd like to get a track championship again at lacrosse.
Yeah, I mean, that's the main goal. The main goal is to, you know, our concern at lacrosse is to win the track championship and vie for the state title again. In the Big 8 series, you know, I'm keeping relatively grounded. You know, we're eligible for Rookie of the Year this year. But the Big 8 is more of my concern because of the difference in the cars, with the difference in tires, difference in shocks that you're allowed to run, and just getting a feel for it. And it's an entirely new tire for that series again this year without having the Goodyears. They're back to the Hoosier S800s instead of the normal 800s. So there's a few variables there that it could throw us a curveball or two, but I think we'll be all right.
Are those tires grooved?
Yes, they're a treaded
still
tire.
grooved? Okay.
There's been a lot of talk during the offseason about the big tire swap. Is that a major concern for you and your race team? I mean, obviously, he's looking at Big 8s. You're looking at late model.
The difference for us is mostly the way, and with him too, when he runs his late model, is the type of rubber that the sportsmen put down. Sometimes it really helps with us, and sometimes there's been issues with the rubber that they put down with us. I think the Big 8 will be a bigger difference for him.
Yeah, the Big 8 car will be a lot bigger difference this year, just for the simple fact that the Hoosiers, you know, history-wise, have been a little bit slower and a little bit harder to get some forward drive out of them compared to the Goodyears that we ran on. But as far as our late model program goes at lacrosse, my team never had an issue with what the Sportsman tires on the Goodyears did for what our cars were set up for. So I think it's actually could possibly benefit the Sportsmans at lacrosse as well as the late models, because we have the same brand of rubber down on the high groove and the low groove. So I'm actually thinking and hoping that it's going to promote better side-by-side racing.
Jay Herbst, our guest on the Seven Rivers Racing program on this show today, Electrified Motorsports, the number 82 at lacrosse. When we come back, we're going to talk about more trials and tribulations that Jay's going to be facing here with a very long, extended racing season. Not only one track, but looks like many here as we return next on the Seven Rivers Racing Show here on KQEG TV.
When you're all out of good ideas and you've moved on to the dumb ones, it's time. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, a higher standard of comfort.
So lovely. It's a Cousin Subs cheesesteak. It's an Italian cheesesteak and a double cheesesteak.
Score!
It's another Cousin Subs cheesesteak.
It's a Philly. You got the whole set! I know.
Cousin Subs. Better bread, better subs, better day.
I'm so happy.
Did you know that the Holman American Legion is open to the public? That's right, 7 days a week you can enjoy the full-service bar while watching your favorite sports team or NASCAR driver. You don't need to be a member to enjoy the Holman American Legion's rotating lunch special every Tuesday for only $6. A banquet hall with seating up to 250 people is also available for weddings, birthdays, or any other special event. See you at the Holman American Legion, 419 First Avenue West in Holman.
We're back one more time. Seven Rivers Racing here in KQEG TV, along with Al Losi and my guest, Jay Herbst. I'm Dan Dyker. You know, just before the break, we were talking about all the different areas Jay's going to be racing this year, but obviously you really can't get things going until you get a car worked in. And first off, we're looking at an open practice coming up this Saturday at lacrosse. Obviously, it doesn't look like you're going to be able to do that because you're going to be down at Rockford. But I'll pose this question to both you guys because you've done this in the past. When you have an open practice like we're going to have Saturday where the temperature's only 40-ish and the season starts to wind out where we get into the 70s and 80s, how much can you really learn from your cars when you're practicing on a very cold day like that?
Well, I'll answer that first because I think we're a little bit lighter for what we're looking for. We don't want to put our equipment at risk. So if it gets below much over less than 40, we're not going to be out there. But what we want to do is make sure we've taken that car apart and put it back together. As Jay has mentioned, he's done that with his. We will definitely got to make sure that we put everything back together correctly. Look for vibrations, bindings. Setup we're not going to really be worried too much about at that point in time. Jay here, on the other hand, has a totally different program.
No, when it's 40 degrees out and they have the open practice like they're going to have, I'll go full on out, full throttle. The first time out, burn the brakes in, make sure everything's good and tight, there's no vibration. But as far as I'm concerned, we have to race in that opening night.
Right.
We may not hot lap and qualify in that because it'll be a little bit warmer. But as the night progresses and the temperatures drop when the lights come on, no, we race in that. So I full bore practice at it. And we change our setup just a little bit as the season starts to progress and get warmer, but not a whole lot.
I've had a lot of people ask me over the past couple of years at La Crosse that'll go to the open practice and they'll say, gosh, it looked like these guys were running for a track championship on just practice day. But when you're talking a late model, you have to do that. You can't go out there and just drive it a quarter of the way because you're not going to know what to expect come the 20th.
No, you've got to be able to put it out there a little bit. Otherwise, you won't know where the rattles are or where the bindings are. You won't feel it bound up, at least from our point of view.
Now, it's going to be obviously warmer this weekend when you race in Rockford. Is that going to be a little bit more of an advantage to you to get a good feel for that car?
I don't know. I can't honestly say that because this car is brand new and I've never had it on the track once. And
it's ever scary that you're doing something brand new and all of a sudden you take 2 laps around and bang?
No, I've had one dumb thing happen before, and that was a couple of years ago in practice where I had an upper control arm break.
Just as in turn 2. That's right.
In turn 1.
That's right. That's right.
I had an upper control arm break, and that one rung my bell a little bit, but all the safety stuff did its job as to what it was supposed to do. But as far as climbing into the car that's never been on the track, and especially going to Rockford and getting on the gas right away, no, I'll take it easy the first few laps and make sure everything's good and that kind of stuff. But we don't have time sometimes to take it easy. So you got to have faith in yourself and in that your crew, that when you put the car together and you did all the nut and bolt checks, that everything is right.
Now, you were also saying before we started taping, there's a chance that you may run some Tundra Series races this year.
Yeah, we're looking. The Tundra Series race that came up on the 3rd of July at La Crosse is one that really piqued our interest. And then looking and seeing at other stuff that they have, provided it doesn't interfere with the La Crosse or the Big 8 Series schedule, I'd like to go and run a Marshfield race. The ARCA Midwest Tour stuff we looked at, is the Milwaukee Mile, because we're there at the Big 8 Series at the same time.
Right.
And we just take both cars down. And then obviously Oktoberfest, we're going to be there. We'll have our Big 8 car there, our La Crosse car there, and the third car that we have that has an ACE motor in it for the Midwest stuff.
And then you get another big one we were talking about down in Madison this year that you were looking forward to getting down to.
Yeah, with Madison and with our deal with Hendrickson, we're talking about putting together a hospitality tent and pavilion for the people of Hendrickson and one of their big customers, Utility Trailers, and inviting their customers up to come and enjoy the races. And we're looking forward to doing more stuff like that with Hendrickson.
With all of this, where is Jay Herbst Electrified Motorsports at in your career? Where are you at? Because it seems as though you've taken on quite a bit this year, but it's not like you're a rookie. I mean, you've been doing this for quite a long time. Where do you feel in your racing career you're at right now? Are you peaking? Are you at a plateau?
No, I don't believe we've peaked or at a plateau. Each year we keep getting better and better and better. I mean, we won our first championship in 2009, finished second in 2010. We won it again in 2011. We had an off year and finished 4th. And I mean, even to still finish in the top 5 and say we had a really off year,
right,
that speaks volumes for our...
You and I talked about that, too, because it doesn't sound right when you...
No.
I mean, how many drivers, you average 25 late models at La Crosse that would love to finish in the top 4, and you say it's an off year, it just didn't sound right.
La Crosse is a tough, tough track. Great teams.
And we did some touring racing, you know, back in 2006 and 2007 and some in 2008, and I'd love to go back in time with what I know now and go back then.
Oh, sure.
And see how we would fare. But my team has matured so much more. Everybody has worked with each other. I mean, I've had the same guys on my crew since 2004. And everybody keeps coming back just more and more enthusiastic and excited. And with the big stuff that we have going on this year, they're looking forward to going to other tracks. And a lot of the tracks we have been to before. So we're not close to plateauing out or anything. We're still rising.
And real quick, is your dad ready for it?
Oh, he's excited.
He's usually, in the past couple of years we've had the show, his dad usually pops on the program with us as well, and he's such a driving force behind Electrified Motorsports and everything you do. Before we let you go, as we do every single year, I know besides Hendrickson Trailer Commercial Vehicle Systems, you got some other sponsors on board this year.
Yeah, I got a new one, and I want to welcome them with open arms, is River City Ready Mix, with Badger Corrugating, Thompson Drywall, Fechner Motors, Clevite, Molly, Lloyd Speed Stop and BP, Viking Electric, Carpet City, GMAC Construction, Elite Excavating. Oh.
And you're going to make it tough for me to get all those out of the way during qualifying. All righty, well, Jay Herbst, Electrified Motorsports. I do want to mention it's jherbst82.com. He's got a brand new website. He's got a lot of video up there. I can't wait to see some of the video you get now. You're going to be throwing up some Big 8 and anything you do this year, video-wise, people can watch glimpses on your website.
Yeah, we are. We purchased a camera, and I've got one up there now from a night at La Crosse, but I do plan on having an in-car camera for all the Big 8 races and for all the Saturday night features that we do at La Crosse and any other extracurricular activities that we do.
Again, it's just the letter, jherbst82.com. Make sure you bookmark that one and keep tabs on what he's been doing and will be doing for the remainder of the year.
And I got to give a shout out to our newest sponsors, River Valley Realtors, Coldwell Banker, and Chuck Olson and Ryan Olson and them. Thanks for coming on board.
Get them at the racetrack this year.
Oh, yeah.
All righty, Jay Herbst, number 82 in La Crosse, and you're going to see him pretty much 4 or 5 states around the Midwest here during the summer, and we'll keep them updated on both my racing Facebook pages as well, Cinema Rivers Racing, and the WKTY Race Report. We'll be throwing some stuff up on there for you as well. Matter of fact, I'm going to have Jay on my WKTY radio show coming up from 1 to 2 this Saturday. For Jay Herbst and Al Losey, practice day coming up Saturday. We hope to see everybody at the racetrack, get that good smell of fumes, hear those tires hit the pavement, and we're going to be ready to kick off the 2013 season. Thanks for joining us this week on 7 Rivers Racing here at KQEG TV.